I love these shows because to me it takes me back to, man, the days, AG, when we grew up playing in the playground, man. This brings back all of the street ball awareness. I mean, this is like, man, this is it. So this is the episode that you want to listen to, that you want to see, if you just want to know this is what real basketball is about in terms of just from a straight from the grind up level. So today on the Hoop Dreams podcast, man, we got a Boston
East
native.
Coast.
He's a former college basketball player, two-time, not one time, two-time author and an entrepreneur. That means he's a boss. If y'all didn't know what that means, he is a boss. He's the founder of Creative Media and started the Cage Hoops, which is, listen, if y'all ain't on it, y'all better get on it now. It's the Cage. We like to welcome to the show the one and only Mr. Kyree. Yeah, I say Kyree LaPlanche.
Yes, sir.
To the show. I'm Will Gates, and that's my dog.
Agee in the building. Kyree, thanks for coming on the show, brother.
Of course, man. Y'all the GOATs, man. Y'all are the GOATs. Y'all are the GOATs, man, for real.
Hey, man, when I came across
first of all, man.
Hey, when I came across the show, I had to hit Will up and say, Will, you got to check this kid out, man. We got to have him on. This just because I love how your passion and the fire you had is still about the game. So, like Will said, these are the type of shows that we like to educate the real hoopers on.
For sure.
Absolutely. We're talking about grassroots basketball, Kyree. Like I'm watching your YouTube, man. I'm seeing the videos. I'm seeing cats walk in the gym, and then of course, you know what I caught this morning? I said, "Dude, he got on my guy shoes. What's going on? Did I see some Dwayne Wade?" I'm like, whoa. All right now, I said, Kyree more than just a hooper. He family now. I said, I saw him with some Wade. So man. We got so much we want to talk to you about, but let's kick this off with this first question right here, man. Have you seen the movie Hoop Dreams? And if you did, what were your impressions?
Oh man. Well, first before anything, I'm honored to be here, man. I salute y'all heavy because I think y'all really gave a lot of inspiration for us hoopers even today, for sure. And I don't take this lightly when I say it, like, y'all deserve your flowers, man, because if it wasn't, I truly believe y'all dropping this film was a huge pivotal role in the basketball community in what we're doing right now as far as creators. Yep. Definitely. Wow. So I definitely, personally, if nobody else gonna give it to y'all,
love it.
I'll give y'all the flowers, man. That's love. We appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all, man. But yeah, I definitely seen it. I started watching it when I was 17, and it's crazy because my pops, he's a big fan of y'all's too. He watched y'all's documentary. Y'all's documentary came out in '94, and my pops was 14.
Wow!
So he was watching y'all, and I remember one day I was coming from school, and it's crazy. I just got done working out during that time. I just came from practice, and I'm sitting in my room, I'm laying down, and my dad's just like, he comes in my room. He said, "Yo, I want you to watch this documentary." I said, "What documentary?" Because he knows I like documentaries anyway. So I was like, "What documentary?" He says, "It's called Hoop Dreams with Will Gates and Arthur Agee." I was like, "I don't know who they are, but I said, I'm gonna tap in and see what they got going on." And then he was like, "Dude, I've been watching them since I was a kid.
Wow.
And this documentary inspired me when I was younger, especially chasing hoop and really going after this thing." So I said, "I really think you should check it out." So at the time, I believe it was on Netflix too. So I was watching it on Netflix. I watched that joint. Literally, I got to put a bowl of ramen noodles. Was tuned in. Did not stop, not one time. It was one setting, just eating my ramen noodles, just watching.
Wow.
And so, yeah, man. And then that point on, it wasn't just one time when I watched it. I watched it at least like 3-4 times. And so, and that was just during that period of time. You know what I mean? Because I really admire the art of videography, film, production, and then also with telling stories.
Yeah.
Man. And so, especially when I just seen y'all's history and what y'all gone through and y'all's journey with basketball. It really inspired me. It gave me a burning fire to be like, man, like I need to go ahead and lock in on what I'm trying to do and trying to get to my next level. So again, I appreciate y'all. I salute y'all because y'all helped me get to where I am right now.
Yeah.
So I salute y'all heavy, bro. For real.
Hey, Cass, so is it safe to say that Pops put the ball in your hand?
Absolutely. Since I was literally born, man. He tells me this all the time. So, like, since I was born, he kept a ball in my crib, and then ever since that moment, like I just pretty much was gravitating towards the rock, and then I was just playing ball every day.
Wow.
So that's how that was the story, man. Like I gravitated towards ball, and I loved it.
Tell us about your journey, man. Tell us about, man, where you grew up, high school you went to. Give us. I mean, I know this is the Hoop Dreams podcast, but this is really Kyree's podcast right now. Give us your story, man. Give us your history.
Yeah, man. So I'm from Brockton, Mass. I grew up in a predominantly white neighborhood, to be honest with y'all. I grew up in Canton, Massachusetts, and I was raised pretty much over there, and I went to school and stuff over there. I dealt with a lot of like it was predominantly white, and so dealing with a lot of that, it kind of made me feel different as far as, and it wasn't even from a positive standpoint. It was more so from a negative standpoint. It was just more so just like, people looking at you kind of funny, and kids kind of just asking you what kind of shoes or what kind of outfit you wearing, what is that,
right?
Those type of things. And then even just playing ball, like the school that I was at during the time, like throughout my elementary and middle school, man, everybody was playing hockey, football, all that. And there was a small percentage of us, black dudes in there. So I was, in gym class, I would be playing ball. Whenever there was options, I was playing ball. Forget everything else. There was people on the other side playing hockey, playing dodgeball. I'm just like, man, I want to hoop, bro. Like, bump all that. And so I grew up, yeah, man. So, like, again, I grew up in a predominantly, white area. And when I went my ninth grade year, my freshman year, I transferred to, it was a drastic change from a predominantly white area to a predominantly, black school. So I ended up going to a black school where kids are talking back to teachers, fights. And honestly, it was only just because of the basketball situation. My 8th grade year, going into my 9th grade year, the coach from the high school team was basically telling me that he didn't really need me there going into the next year, even just playing on the freshman team.
Wow.
And and he had that conversation, with my father and everything, and we took it personally, as what MJ would say. We took it personally. So from that point, that's when we made the decision to go to another program that at least wanted me. You know what I mean? And so I transferred to another high school, and then after I transferred, I had a decent year. My freshman year, I was playing on the freshman team. I was averaging like 20 points, but the thing was, I was scared to try out for varsity because I didn't want to get cut. And I think the thing for me was like, I just wanted to make sure that the way how my thought process was, it was more so just like, I bet if I play freshman and I kill freshman, I can get moved up to varsity easily, instead of just trying to risk trying out for varsity and then I'm cut for the whole year and I'm not playing no ball. So I was like, you know what, let me go ahead and just move like that. And so as a freshman, I'm going up against all the seniors. And all the seniors, like, there's open gym and stuff. And I'm guarding the best. I said, yo, who's the best point guard here? And I ended up guarding the best point guard, full court. Every open gym we had, I was guarding him. There were times where he did score on me, but there were times where it was like, yo, who is this kid? Yo, who is this dude? And so, so then from that point, man, I like I said, I was killing killing freshmen, and then I got moved. Like there was this particular game where I went off, and I think I had like 20. I had like 28, and then I basically I hit the game winning free throw, and then I got the varsity coach pulled me to the side. You know, he's talking to me about, you know, getting me on his team and stuff. So then next thing you know, my grades were trash.
Wow.
My grades were terrible. I didn't take school seriously as much as I should have during that time. And it messed me up because the coach ended up telling me, you know, he was still going to move me up to play varsity. But my dad was like, nah, he need to learn a lesson.
Wow.
So he ended up saying, nah, you can't play. And so I had to sit out for a month, just going to the games, going to the JV games, going to the varsity games, just on the sideline.
Yeah.
And I'm over here just like eager to move. And I'm just pissed at myself because I'm just like, man, like I need to be out there, and I'm better than these dudes. It's one thing if you just like, if you know you ain't better than these players and you just chilling, you supporting the game. It's a whole nother thing when you're like, yo, I can really give this dude 40. So it's like, I was going into every game. I'm over here carrying bags and stuff at every game. I'm just like, I don't need to be doing. I'm never being a water boy ever again. There's no disrespect to any water boys or whatever,
Right.
bro. But I'm like, I'm not doing this again.
Right.
Every game, I'm going out here and I'm dropping 40. That's it.
So did you learn? Did you? I mean, the thing about that is you couldn't be mad at nobody but yourself.
It's a fact. That is a huge fact. And so, I want to try and sum it up a little bit quick. I don't want to take too long, but from that point on, that's when I started like the mentality of wanting to kill. That's when it really activated in me. And so that summer, I went to South Carolina, and I got family over there. So I went to South Carolina that summer. Man, when I tell you I locked in, I was locked in more than, man, I was over here lifting. I never lifted in my life.
Wow.
I was over here lifting. My uncle, he's a year older than me right now. But we ended up, he was at the time, or his school that he was playing, it was like a top high school and stuff. And they played against really tough competition and like a lot of ranked players. And so he was telling me the stuff that they was doing for their after school program and stuff like that. And, you know, the stuff that the coach was telling them. So I was like, bro, I'm about to get on that. So basically, like I said, I went to South Carolina that summer, lifting every day, working out 3 times a day. I'm in there just going crazy. So then after that summer, that fall, I transferred to another school, and I played for my dad's old high school coach. And so it was a really good situation for me, because now I had a new chip on my shoulder. It was a brand new faces. I got respect at the other school I was at, don't get me wrong, but it was just a different environment. And I came in with just a different energy. So then that year, I basically ended up scoring 500 points as a sophomore. I became a all scholastic league all-star. And from there, that's when I knew, I was like, yeah, I'm about to be different, bro. It's over for everybody. So then from that point on, I was just on a killing spree just everywhere. But the thing was, man, like, I was never ranked. I was never, I never had D1 offers. And I'm going to say this to you too, Will. Yo, no, like, when I seen your documentary, and I seen you having all them offers and everything, and you just over here pulling them out, he's like, yeah, I got this. And then I'm over here just like, man, this is so crazy. So I'm just like, man, bro. But yeah, man, I ended up just going on a huge killing spree within those last 3 years of my high school. Like I said, man, I was never ranked. I never played on the top AAU program. I was just a killer.
Wow.
I just wanted anything that I wanted to do. I just wanted to go out and kill everybody. And so I was like, whoever on this court, they gonna get the smoke. And the thing about me is I take pride in defense. And the thing that a lot of this generation we lack now is the defensive side. Like, we always play for the clips, we always play for the highlights, but it's never just like, hey, bro, like, can you get this one stop for me? What are some other ways you can affect the game without touching the rock? Yeah. And so I played with a variety of different players in a variety of different systems where I was able to adapt.
Mm.
And the thing about me is I'm very coachable too. So I'm always going to be a point where it's like, all right, coach, what do you need me to do? And I ain't worried about this, man. What do you need me to do? You need me to get on him? Do you need me to like what do you need me to do? And so like that's the type of time I'm on, because I do that to my people. Like on the cage, I tell them, I direct, I let them know like, yo bro, like you need to push this person here, or all the players that I have on the on the thing will tell you like, yo, Kyree's a dog, man, and he's gonna whatever he gonna say, he gonna let you know. And so yeah, man, like it's just crazy. So long story short, after my high school career, I ended up becoming the all-time leading scorer at my school.
Tell us what school was that?
So
What school was that?
Holbrook Public Schools, Holbrook Middle High School.
Okay.
So yeah, I was leading scorer over there. I didn't have any offers out though. No offers. All I had was, and again, like I said, I had the AAU program that I was playing on. It wasn't like a major AAU program. We didn't travel anywhere crazy. The furthest place we traveled was freaking New York. So, and which was at the Gym Rat tournament. I remember that. But that was the farthest we traveled. But, the thing with me was I just tried to figure out what looks I can get. And so, and my dad's very resourceful as well. So we tried to figure out some calls as far as making some moves and everything. And basically I had this one school. I had a few JUCO schools lined up. I went to a combine, actually, a JUCO combine. I did really well at the JUCO combine. I was killing them dudes. I was killing them at the JUCO combine. And then after, I ended up getting some JUCO looks. But during my certain time for me, I was like, man, I'm not going JUCO. Like, I don't want to go JUCO. Like, I want to play Division I, like any other athlete.
Yeah.
Like, and I still believe that to this day I can still play Division I. But yeah, man, I was literally just like doing that, and I ended up going D3 my freshman year, and a situation happened over there where it really wasn't healthy. Where coaches make certain promises, and then certain things just don't happen. Arthur, I know but coaches make certain promises, and certain things don't pan out the way they should have been based on their word and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So it was definitely an unfortunate situation. And so that after that, that year, I ended up going to another program called Lakeside Prep in South Carolina. And that was when my skills were definitely tested as well, because of the fact that we ended up playing against like the top programs. We played against Oak Hill Academy, and this team called Core 4 Atlanta. When we played against Oak Hill, everybody was scared against Oak Hill, man. Everybody was scared.
You say they was
because you know how it is, bro.
Who was on that team? Who was on that team?
Yo, they had what's his name?
Not Brandon Jennings, was it?
It was the year after Cole Anthony left.
Oh, year after Cole. Okay.
A year after Cole Anthony had graduated. They had a few players and stuff. One of the players was committing to LSU at the time. He was a big dude. A couple of players on there was commits, but I don't think it was anybody that was like, I don't know. I don't remember specifically.
But the name itself just shut the gym down.
Yeah. You feel me? So then once that happened, everybody in there was scared, man. And again, the school that I was playing for, they weren't the best program either, though.
Wow.
Like, it was another situation where it was just like, I just got to go ahead and kill. Like, no matter what situation, I'm going to go ahead and kill. And the next thing you know, I ended up giving Oak Hill 30.
Damn.
So once that happened, I shook the head coach's hand, and I'll never forget, he told me, he said, you're going to be a great player.
Yeah.
And he said, keep going. And so, and that was in 2019. And then obviously COVID hits. Once COVID hits, that's when, personally for me, that's when I started taking more of the YouTube side seriously and social media more. I was heavy on social media during like 2018, 2019. But I really started locking in on that during that time, because even within those few, like going into 2020, a few months before, I ended up working at a warehouse for about 2 weeks because I wanted to afford getting a camera because I wanted to upgrade my quality because I was using my phone at the time. And so I was like, man, I need to upgrade my quality, bro. So I worked in a warehouse with a whole bunch of different type of, the environment was crazy. But I ended up working in that warehouse, got my camera, COVID hits. And then after, that's when I started taking, YouTube, Instagram. Like I took all social media seriously. And I ended up getting to the point where I was like, yo, I want to make these grind videos. And basically what grind videos are is just showing myself working out every single day. And, despite the situation, despite the outcome, let's just like, yo, like, let's just document this, bro. And again, you guys played a role for that.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Because when I'm over here thinking about it, I'm over here watching y'all's film while I'm like editing and stuff too. You feel me? So I'm over here trying to get inspiration. I'm trying to understand just like the importance of telling a story and what people need to feel when they watch your video. And so once I kind of started coming up and understanding my own formula as far as how I wanted to move and how I wanted to grow this thing, that's when it was like the sky's the limit pretty much. And so, yeah, man. So then from that point, I was going to go play JUCO, but they was requiring the vaccine at the time.
Okay.
And so that didn't work out too well. So I ended up basically sitting out for a year again. And then I was going to another program, but in the midst of that, I'm over here going to open gyms, open runs, hoping with college players and pros and all this other stuff. So I'm hooping. It's just right now, I just need the opportunity.
Yeah.
So once I step on the floor with these dudes, it's over. But I'm just like, yo, I just need a shot. You know what I mean? So then from that point, I got another college look. Ended up enrolling at that college. And then next thing you know, season's about to hit. They're like, hey, Kyree, you can't play because you didn't get the vaccine. So you either got to take this vaccine or you can't play. So it's 2 years in a row when I'm dealing with that.
Wow.
So I'm over here like, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I ended up sitting out another year. So then going to another situation that next year, I end up going to, I was going to go to another JUCO program around, locally. And then next thing you know, they end up hitting me with the same thing. And I was like, dude, this is insane.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, dude, like, there's no other way around this, bro. I said, respectfully, like, I'm not going to do it. It's just my choice. I don't think any athlete should have to face a consequence because of that. Because all these, like, hoop dreams are being dead now because of that. You know what I mean?
Hey, Will, he Kyrie Irving for real, wasn't he?
I know. I'm hearing the story, man. I'm hearing the story. I'm like, okay, he's following his namesake.
Yo,
I
man, I'm sorry, man. I couldn't do it, bro.
That's what's up.
I couldn't do it, fellas. I couldn't do it, man. So then, next thing you know, man, I basically I ended up going to a program. This was last year, and I ended up going to this D3 school. I went to a whole program that didn't even know who I was, didn't have no idea what I had going on, didn't care anything about me. I only went to the school because one, I was like, yo, I can't sit out for another year, bro. I can't do it. Like, I need to go hoop somewhere. Respectfully, I'm not hooping in these other leagues because this isn't the comp that I want right now. I feel like if anything, this is hindering me. So I'm like, I need to go play against some organized comp, get my film, and then go somewhere else. I said, at this point, I don't care who I play for. I just want to play.
Yeah.
So then I ended up going into a situation I honestly believe, I don't think it was the best situation for me. And I don't think it was one of my smartest decisions either. I definitely will say that. But I was in a point where I was just like, man, like, I just want to go hoop. So I ended up going to a program that my younger brother, he was graduating at the time. He was going to that school. And so I was like, man, I'm going to just roll with you. I don't care where you are. I'm going to roll with you. And then me and you we'll hang out and do what we need to do. But we need to go here. And so I brought my uncle with me. He's, again, as I say, he's a year older than me. His name's Lance.
Okay.
We're going to play JUCO next year too, by the way. But so we ended up going to that D3 school. Once we go to that D3 school, Again, as I said, I got pretty much accepted on the day of orientation, like literally. So it was one of those things where it's like, this was literally God, because I'm like, man, like there's no way I should be here right now.
Wow.
So, I ended up like,
hold on, Kyree. You gotta fill in some plugs for me now.
yeah.
So you I just heard you say you're going to JUCO, but you went to D3. How does that work? Educate us. How can you go to D3 and then go back to JUCO? Educate us on that.
Yeah, for sure. So the thing is, so my freshman year, I know it's a long story, but it's all gonna make sense. So my freshman year in 2018, the thing I told you about, what my coach not making certain promises, right? And basically, the school program, whatever. During that time, I think it's still there anyway, but there's a varsity and JV program. Originally, from what the conversations and stuff that we had, the initial plan was for me to play on the main team. So then when I got to the program, I did what I was supposed to do, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I end up playing on the JV team. And if you know what that is, it's basically JUCO schools. And basically what they do for Division 3, D2, whatever, because D2 has this too. I'm not sure if D1 has this, but I know D3, D2 has it. But pretty much what that is, you're playing against JUCOs, the local JUCOs around the programs, and it doesn't count as eligibility. From what I read and from what I've seen, it doesn't count as eligibility.
Wow, it doesn't.
So throughout my career, I've only been playing JV teams.
Right. So got it.
So I have not played not one game where it was like, actually, you know what? Let me backtrack. Because when in 2018, I played a few games on the varsity team when I had gotten moved up. But again, it was just a whole situation. But I got moved up. I played like 3 or 4 games on the main team my freshman year, and then that was it. So then next thing you know, obviously that year is burned because of that. Yeah. But absolutely, throughout these other years, I haven't played any legitimate basketball in the sense of like my eligibility
and requirements, right? Wow.
You feel me? So throughout that time, I'm just like, all right, now I'm using my situation well. I'm like, all right, I need to make this work. And me being the smart young man that I am, I'm like, all right, cool. Like, this is how I'm going to move next. This is what the next decision is going to look like. This is what I see myself within these next 6 months. This is where I see myself within these next 3 months. This is where I need to be within these next 2 months. So it's like everything that I'm doing is always strategic. And again, I have my father. He's very resourceful to the point where he's helping me, just making sure that I'm staying on track and doing everything I'm supposed to do. But again, so I ended up playing Division 3 last year. Played on the JV team pretty much because, as I told y'all, I'm just trying to move. Like, I'm just trying to hoop pretty much. I know it's a long story, y'all, so bear with me. But again, I'm trying to hoop, doing that, this and that, and third, blah, blah, blah. So then next thing you know, I end up that year, fall, I ended up not going into the next semester. I pretty much was like, man, I'm good. Like, I'm not going to do it because I'm just wasting money. It's not a good situation for me.
Right.
Like, I'd rather just go ahead and just work out and do what I need to do. Yeah. So where I am now, from that point, I was just like, all right, I really need to lock in on what I'm trying to do as far as from a social media sense again. And as far as, just how I can get some quality ball without making sure I go to this person for this or go to, because that's one of the reasons why I started the cage anyway, was because I wanted to make an environment where it was competitive. 2, it was quality run. 3, personally for me, I'm not going to go ahead, because nowadays you got to go ahead and DM certain trainers. You got to DM certain people to get the addy to go to the run and stuff. I'm not doing that, bro. Yeah. Like, respectfully, I'm not doing that. Who do I look like kissing up to this dude talking about, oh yeah, can you invite me here? Can you do? I'm not doing that, bro. It's not happening. Yeah. So I'm like, you know what? I'm very resourceful to the point where I'm like, I'm just going to do my own thing, bro. And I said, from there, whoever is with it is with it. Who's not, who's not. I don't care. I just want a ball, bro.
And the cage
So I was like, you know,
was born.
I
and
love that too.
And the cage
I
was
love
born,
that.
man.
And that's what I was gonna tell you, man. I do want to transition to the cage, man, because first of all, I gotta say this, man. The name itself is just hard. Let me just put that out there.
Yeah. I love that. Appreciate it.
I feel like there's this element of fight built in. Like whatever you're fighting for is built into the name. When you walk in, you need to come with it. When you were developing this, what was the mindset behind the whole idea of the cage?
Well, the first thing is I wanted to make something that stuck true to me, because I'm never gonna put something out that I don't resonate with. So I was like, what's something that really means a lot to me? And knowing that people will say, if you were to ask the next person, they will vouch and be like, yeah, that sounds like him. So I'm like, you know, every time when I get on the floor, I told y'all, every time I get on the floor, I'm killing. I'm a legitimate dog. And I'm not saying that to be cocky or arrogant, but I'm a dog, man. And so like anytime when it comes to us getting on the floor, it's like, yo, whoever I'm matching up with, you're getting playing 94 feet the whole game, you're getting denied, like you're not getting nothing over here, bro. It's not happening. So the thing was for me, it's like, yo, every time we play against somebody, it's like, yeah, it's gonna be a dog fight today. It's gonna be a dog fight. Oh, Kyree's a dog. And so again, I wanted to make something that I knew that one resonated with me, but then two, if I were to do this, people would vouch and be like, yeah, that sounds like something Kyree would do, or let alone that's who Kyree is. So I was just like, you know what? I came up with a few different names, but I was like, nah, let's say like, this the cage. I was like, dogs, cage. I was like, yeah, that's it. I said, the cage is what it's called. We're calling it the cage. And then from that point on, I already pretty much knew who I wanted to kind of get involved within that, you know, and things like that. But that's how the name was emerged, man.
Acronym in that name does the cage.
Yeah.
Does the CAGE stands for something?
Yeah. Nah, no, it doesn't. It's just the cage, and then our motto is where the dogs are. And again, as I said, I'm a dog, bro.
So Cal, when I'm looking at when I found you, I'm looking at your videos and stuff. I tell you, I actually commented on one of your sneakers when you was putting on testing one of the sneakers and shit. I had commented on it. I said, "Oh, he just saying that because he got the sneakers free." Only go back and look at one of your videos. I forgot what shoe I commented on that you was trying out, but I was like, "Oh, I think it was the Puma. I think it was one of them Puma joints." I was like, "Oh man, he just giving them a good review because he got them for free." So look, what was there one reason? Was it this reason that you started the cage in Boston? Because what other pro-ams or like competitive runs that was out in Boston or that was not in Boston, like that you felt like in Boston we need to have a competitive, you know, there aren't any, you know, for guys, but I know that there are guys who want to compete at a high level and play some good basketball. How can I create that here in Boston?
Yeah. The biggest thing for me was, again, I looked at what we have in Boston, and I'm grateful for the people that we have. I'm grateful for the type of environment that we have. RIP to Terrence Clark, but Terrence Clark, like, he was somebody in the city that everybody looked up to. And so losing him was something that really shut the city down in a way where it was never going to be the same in the basketball community, even itself too. And so a lot more people started to actually come together to put some more stuff together, especially in honor of him, bro. So, but the thing is, for me, I think for where I am and what I'm doing, I haven't seen anything the type of way how I envision it. I haven't seen anything like it in that type of way. And so that's when I was just like, man, like, I want to create something where players know that they're going to get better. I know there was times in y'all's time when you got invited to a run and you're like, oh yeah, who's going to be there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Who's playing? You know what I'm saying? So the thing is, for me, that's why I'm like, man, I mean, that's gonna happen no matter what. But I think for the type of resume that I'm achieving to get, I want to get to a point where it's like, if once I put something out, it's like, yeah, I'm going. Like, there's no question. Like, we going there, we hooping. Like, I don't got to think about that. I know I'm gonna get better. I know it's gonna be some great run. I know that everybody's intentions is pure, because even nowadays, and I don't mean to sidetrack, but I'm not trying to, trash talk about other content creators or anybody else is doing. But what I am saying is, I think the problem that we have with content creation is that people are doing stuff for clips or doing stuff just to get the views. And it's not healthy, it's not organic, and let alone, it's not even true to who you are. And the problem is, when you're doing that, you have to now, once you put yourself out there in that type of light, now you have to live up to that. And now trust me, like, I've seen a lot of content creators that, especially from the hooping standpoint, that just, you would think that they are one way on camera, and then in a whole nother way, it's just different. And so it's just like, and I've been in rooms with people that are just act so different because of this space too. And so it has its pros and cons, but I just think at the end of the day, it's like all about how you use it. And I think for me, I'm always going to use this no matter what, in a positive way, and making sure that everything that I'm putting out there is authentic and it's something that people can relate to. Even if I'm not having a good day, or I'm having a bad moment or whatever, I'll still approach it in a way where it's like, yo, this is normal, that things like this are supposed to happen. You're supposed to go through these tough times. You're supposed to go through, certain moments where it's not always going to be the best. But at the end of the day, God is bringing you to a whole nother destination for a reason, and he's blessed you to be here. You woke up this morning, so that's already one thing. You feel me? So, I always just think of it in that type of way, man. And so, like, I think, one of the reasons why I definitely wanted to start the cage is simply just because I wanted to create an environment where I envisioned something for our city. And now, to be honest with you, I'm not trying to sound cocky, arrogant, or anything, but now we do have a lot of people that actually want to be a part of it. Like, we're getting countless amount of messages now from people all over the city to be like, yo, when's the next season? Oh, when is this? Yo, I'm trying to come to a run. When you hosting the next run? When are you going to do this? When are you going to do that? Yo, you pull up to Miami. We actually getting ready to do a tour soon anyway. You feel me? So we're getting ready to do a tour. We're getting ready
I was going to ask you about
we're
that.
working on a
I was
facility.
going to ask you, are you guys getting out on the road, just pulling up at gyms and saying,
Man, we got it.
It's interesting because I got to say this as nice as possible, but I didn't know Boston for a lot of basketball players. Like, we used to come there because y'all used to host the Boston Shootout. We used to come. Guys from Chicago would come in.
Know that. Everybody know that. Everybody know that.
But
yeah, everybody know
but
that.
I've never really known very many players to come out of Boston itself. Like who are some of the guys do you like remember playing?
You better not
coming out of Boston.
Hey, Will, you better not let Michael Bivens hear you say that. He You better not hear Michael Bivens. What? Michael Bivens will be like Orchard Park in the building.
But that's what I'm saying. I want him to say that, because I mean, let's be honest. Like I was telling them, I don't know very many guys that came up out of Boston. So in terms of the hoop setting, especially you say Orchard Park, I you say Orchard Park, my mind goes New Edition.
The projects, baby.
In the projects,
Fact.
But I was also telling them, Agee, they used to have the Boston Shootout. Like, this was one of the biggest tournaments every year. So I guess my question for you, Kyree, like, man, coming up, who was influencing you as an athlete in your state? Who was influencing you?
In my state,
Terrence Clark, one of them.
In my state. Well, yeah, that's definitely true for sure. I know I'm definitely older than him. and obviously, you know, RIP that he passed, man. For sure, bro. I think guys more so during my time, like as I'm growing up as like let's say like 10 years old. There's guys I'm looking at. There's this guy named Wayne Selden. He used to play for.
Yeah, we know
He
Wayne.
played for Kansas.
Mm-hmm. We know Wayne.
Okay,
Absolutely.
you know Wayne.
Absolutely.
Okay. Have you heard?
Yep.
You obviously know Terrence Clark. Have
Yeah.
you heard of Shabazz Napier?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, so you know Shabazz. So we have like a lot of names as far as who's out here. It's just Boston doesn't really get highlighted because you think of like medicine, you think of like, you know, everything when it comes to anything like
Mhm.
education
Absolutely.
wise,
Yeah.
health wise, healthcare, all that. You
And
know
the
what I
clam
mean?
chowder.
Clam chowder for sure. But we have, man, listen, we have a lot of names out here that really turned the city up, man, and really are continuing to put. Have you heard of Nerlens
Yeah,
Noel?
New Orleans.
Okay.
Listen,
So
I
Nerlens Noel,
I
that's
just want to
another
give
guy.
you an
You feel me?
opportunity to put your city out there, let people
Uh-huh.
know that Boston
Yeah,
got ballers.
we got dogs, man. We do. But again, it's just we're not always
Yeah.
getting highlighted like that. Like we always feel like sometimes we gotta definitely compete with like New York
Yeah.
or Philly
Absolutely.
Yeah.
to get our recognition all the time, bro. So man, we definitely got some dogs, and again, that's one of the reasons why the cage was even
Hey, here's
started, man.
a
It's
Hoop
just,
Dreams
we
fun
wanna put
fact for
Boston on the
you.
map.
You talking about education. Northeastern University, out your way, created
Yeah.
the Hoop Dreams educational piece. Matter of fact, we were actually, Agee and I, when the movie first came out, we went out there and
Yeah.
played at the university in a charity
And
game.
did a national tour.
So yeah, but
Really?
yeah, then that's true, and that was one of the schools that we ended up going to was Northeastern University out
What
there.
was
So
the guy? I think I remember the
yeah.
guy's name was John Iltis.
I believe that was.
That's his
Yeah,
name,
yes,
John
yes.
Iltis.
But we going way back. We talking about, this year Hoop Dreams is celebrating 30 years. So we going
Hey,
we
30
going
years,
way
man.
back.
hey, so as I'm watching your videos, I see a dude that you came across, and I would love to see how you manifested that relationship, how you went out and how you met him and did that. You and I both know this dude. Like, I personally know him, and his place is fly. How did you meet my dog?
Oh man, I didn't know you knew him.
How did you meet my
Wow.
dog?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Man, I didn't know you
Yeah.
knew him. That's wild, bro. Yeah, I met him. So honestly, he's a friend of my father's, man. And yeah, he's a friend of my father's. And so I remember when I was for my 18th birthday, this is when I officially met him. My 18th birthday, we decided to do a run or whatever. And we had him, and then we had Brian Scalabrine pull up. And so from there, we would
White Mamba.
We were just hooping. The White Mamba, man. The White Mamba. So we had them pull up, and then we just had a good time, man. But then from that point on, that's when we started to really build our relationship. And even during COVID, he was actually hosting these Saturday morning runs. I mean, Saturday morning hoops. And so so then we had all the guys from around the city just go and compete, basically like in a big three style. So it was like literally just 3-on-3, just hooping. And from that point, again, like that's when our relationship just continued to grow. And he's
hey Will, you should see the spot. He built in his ice slide where he make the ice slides and different team names. He got all the NFL, NBA licenses and everything. But what he's did in his company in Boston, he built the gym inside the facility. Inside the facility where they actually make the ice slides. He has a gym in there, and Kyree them went up, took the cage in there, and they did a run up in there.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yep.
Kyree, man, it seemed like, man, first of all, God is blessing you tremendously, man. I just want to put that out there. the second thing is, man, we had you so long, but there's so many things we want to talk about. But I just want you to share with our younger leaders, man, because your grind is so. I mean, man, it's your story is just so impactful, so just it, like I always when I look at athletes, this is just how my mind see athletes. I can tell who you are as a person the way you play the game, and not just in the present moment, but I can tell how you grew up. Like I can tell who fought for it. Like if I never knew Agee, the way he plays, I can tell he's been fighting for this all his life. Like he sees me, he could say, Will's been kind of skilled a good portion of his life. Like you could tell a person's personality in their game. What would you say
Right.
to, man, not just the young boys out there, the young girls out there, man? Because man, you got a plethora of things going on. You're an entrepreneur. You got the cage. You're writing books. What would you say to them about their dreams and not getting distracted in life? Because you talked about so many things that could have been a distraction for you, but you figured out it wasn't even about the distractions. You went around it. It wasn't about the excuses. You adapted to all of your situations. What would you say to our young listeners and even our older listeners who still got hoop dreams and you still life dreams? What's your message to them?
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. Seriously. Um, I think one of the things for me that I would say is don't take your things like your dreams and your goals lightly. Um, and the reason I'm saying that is just because I think I think for me personally, growing up, it always stems back for me personally my confidence. Growing up in that predominantly white neighborhood and being coached by white coaches, I'm the pretty much the legitimate only black kid on the team. I didn't get a lot of burn, like the one of the players was the coach's son. So I definitely was not getting no burn. So it was those things for me, it shaped my confidence and it affected my confidence for sure because now I'm over every time when I'm in the game, I'm over here looking at, every time the horn gets beat, I'm over here looking over my shoulder to see if I'm about to come out the game. And usually now 90% of the time it happened. And so I think a big thing for sure is just like, yo, just be confident in who you are. Um, in those situations that you go through, you have to use it to the best of your advantage. I always try to see how I have the upper hand every time in these situations. Instead of course, you have the moments where you're like, man, I suck. I don't want to do this no more. But then when you once you let those feelings out and you get a chance to just see, and you take a step back and you analyze everything and you look at just the overall everything that you're feeling, it's like, man, within this next year or within these next 3-6 months, this is going to be nothing to me.
Hmm.
So I always just look at the bigger picture. And that's one of the things my pops has always just taught me, man. It's just like, yo, there's a bigger picture to everything. So you're going to have your moments. You're going to have these circumstances. But at the end of the day, it's all about how you pursue through it and how you manage it. Managing your emotions is definitely one of the biggest things too, especially as an athlete. Athletes, I think I saw a percentage on this the other day. I just forgot it too, but there's a certain percentage of how much athletes struggle with anxiety, and that was something for me where it was anxiety and confidence. Where for me, I was like, yo, because of these coaches, because of what has gone through, what I've gone through, it affected the way how I played the game sometimes. And sometimes when I stepped on I'm not going to always sit here and be like, put this perfect persona. Like every time I was on the floor, I gave it like I was unstoppable. I was a dog. Like, no, there were moments when I was frustrated and I played because I was frustrated.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I shot shots out of
Mm-hmm.
frustration. I played defense extra aggressive, pushing, shoving because I was frustrated with my situation. But within those moments, I'm over here just like, man, at the end of the day, I know there's gonna be there's always a bigger picture to this, man.
Yeah.
So I definitely would say to the young leaders, yo, just be confident in who you are. Believe in the dream. Believe in who God has purposed you to be. And one of the things, one thing that I meant to note too is I serve in my ministry. My father is the pastor of a church called Motivation Church in Randolph. And yeah, so
You hear
I'm the
that,
oldest out
Pastor
of seven,
Gates?
man. So we all
I hear it. I hear it.
we all in some capacity we all serve. So I serve heavily in the media ministry. But besides, you know, all this, I'm over here, putting in the work
Mm-hmm.
even in ministry. And even obviously I have those moments where I'm questioning just like why am I going through all this? And like why is all this happening like this in this specific way? You know what I mean? And so I just got to the point where I'm just like, man, like it's always
Mm-hmm.
the bigger picture. I know where God's taking me. I know where I'm going. I know exactly what He's calling me to do. Let's get this
Wow.
chicken, man. Like, let's go after it. And so that was that's the thing that I definitely would say. And again, I think another key point for sure, guys. I want to say this as a side note. I talk a
that's
lot.
that's
Good.
what
So
you.
like when you
That's
guys,
what we. That's
when
why
you
we. That's why
guys,
we started
when you
this. We
guys
want you
have
to
these
talk a lot.
That's
functions,
why we're here.
We want to. Because you never know who's listening, who's going through the same thing that you've been
that's a
going
fact.
through, and just because
Absolutely.
they heard you listening, heard you talking and speaking to us, they gonna be like, "Oh
Yeah,
shit, I can do it."
Because it's
that's a
it's
fact.
it's it's your life experience, man, that you're
Yep.
sharing. Because
Yeah,
and what's so amazing is too, man, you really just getting started. I mean, the thing I kept hearing, first of all, I want to congratulate you on this, man, because you said something when you was just explaining to what you would say to young athletes and those who are still pursuing, their life dreams. You said, listen, deal with what you got to deal with and then reset. I I I love it, man, because there's so many people who can't reset in life. They deal with it, they get stuck, so they stay there, and many quit, or they keep trying to recapture the same moment that they had. But I love the fact, man, that you've always reset. But then you're doing something in your life, man, that I think is extremely incredible. You've never been afraid to keep getting it right. Like when you said, "Oh yeah, by the way, I'm going to be in junior college again." I'm like, "Okay, did you do junior college? Already? Did you do? Did you say you did it before?" You get a lot of people who I have already done that, man. I ain't going back. I know what that's like. That ain't for me. I've never heard you in our talk today say that you were beyond, you know,
no, I
starting
think
where you need to
yeah,
start again. I mean, that's incredible, man. Like, where does that come from in you?
it's tough, man. I think a lot of the things that I learned, my pops has taught me. Now, besides Jesus, my dad. I believe my dad is the greatest teacher. Um, and I think a lot from what I learned from him is he's taught me a lot as far as when it comes to just life experiences and stuff that he's been through, and um, just managing my emotions. That was one of the things for me, was something that was very crucial, because I had moments where I was overthinking a lot, and it affected me throughout my time of um my middle school to even sometimes even now. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm perfect, obviously not, but there are still moments where I overthink, and there are still moments where I'm just like, man, I don't know if I'm making the right decision here. I don't know if I'm doing this right. Da, 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 da. But I think when I take a step back, and again to what you said, Will, is just resetting and looking at stuff. Like, one of the things for me is I like to write stuff down. So every time when I write what I'm feeling or write what I'm fearing, I have to write it down so I can visualize it and see it. Like, all right, you know what? The reason why you fear this is because you're not confident in
Mm,
this area. You're not confident. Sometimes I struggle with imposter syndrome. Is because I'm like, man, I'm questioning if I'm supposed to be
mhm,
here.
mhm, mhm,
I'm like, do I really belong here?
mhm.
Am I supposed to be here? Like, is this the right situation for me? So sometimes for me, I just have to really write things down. And I have a whole journal just as far as my prayers, just as far as like when it comes to my feelings. And I think it's healthy for everybody to go ahead and write what they're feeling so they can visually see it. And then once you see it and once you analyze it, that's when you're able to identify it and be like, all right, cool. Now, how am I going to work through this? What do I have to do to get to this next level of this? So I don't fear this or fear this and feel this anymore. You might feel it every now and then, but it's like, I know what the strategy is as far as what needs to be, what I implemented.
Hey, Kyree, it's so crazy. You done just sat here and just blew my head when you said you into media ministry, bro. Like me, you don't understand. Like Will is an ordained pastor right now. Him and my father used to pastor together. My father became an ordained pastor before he passed away. But my dad would always, he would just always drop little nuggets on me and stuff like that. But what you just said, it just, I had to find this little quote, and I want to ask both of you guys something because this is just crazy to me. It says, God is a divine orchestrator. He puts circumstances in places, aligns people paths, and schedule certain events for a greater purpose than we can see. Also, he says some storms are scheduled. Jesus have to get Peter out onto the lake. He has a purpose in mind when he tells the disciples to go on ahead without him. For God's purpose, the disciples used to be in deep water, where all they have to rely on is faith. So some storms are scheduled. God takes us through these certain things to test us. Correct, Will?
Absolutely. His thing, well, Kyree life is a picture of that. I believe his end will always be greater than his beginning. I mean, that's true to the faith. But I think what you're aiming at right now is what you're sharing is really that's more focused on the things that you've been putting into your prayer life. You can't get those things without certain situations to be in. In other words, it's like I think one of the things that some people miss, and this is what I think Kyree has been sharing all day this morning, is people forget the prep work. Like people say, man, I want to play ball. So then if you want to play, then the prep work is you got to be ready for when the opportunity shows up. How's the opportunity ever, when the opportunity come, if you ain't ready, then you can't say you want to play ball. You just can't say, and that's with anything in life. That's good. Your faith walk is all about the prep work. The prep work lets God know that it's like Noah's prep work was, I'm going to build a boat even though it ain't raining. People used to say, man, why you out here shoveling snow? Because I'm getting ready. I need a basketball court to hoop on. So I can't hoop on it if the snow on the ground. I don't need no air in my ball because I know it's so cold out here that it ain't going to bounce. But I'm going to shoot this thing. When I got to St. Joe's, my prep work had already been put in. I was ready when I got out there. I didn't see one thing people miss is, man, you can't get ready when you get the call. You gotta already be ready. When somebody say, like, Kyree, when you call your guys up to come to the gym, you don't want them to come to the gym and get ready. They need to come in ready. So that means they should be working on their game outside of coming into the cage. Because when they come into the cage, we're playing. The cage is for players. It's for grinders. It's for hoopers. If you get better in that, it's because you're getting better because you saying, man, that dude's doing this. So when I leave the cage, I got to go work on that. It's all about the prep work. And that's essentially what you were saying. But Kyree, listen, man, we done had you so long and we could be talking forever. But my dog got, and I'm man, I want to hear this answer so much coming from you, but my dog got one final question for you, man. And I can't wait to hear what you say to this question. Hit him with it, AG.
Well, Kyree, man, I just want to say it was a pleasure actually finally meeting you and everything, following you. Glad you reached back out to us, man, because we fellowshipping right now, as well as telling your story, the Kyree going through the storms and landing in the cage. You know what I'm saying? And we definitely, me and Will definitely would love to give big ups to your pops, man, for
Absolutely.
still being an inspiration, the biggest inspiration in your life. We definitely gotta, me and Will gotta meet him one day, man. We would love to meet your pops one day.
Absolutely.
But my
Love to
last
meet your
question
dad,
to you, man,
Yeah.
what's the next chapter in Kyree Hoop Dream?
You know, the old me would say the NBA, but I think when I look at the bigger picture of it, I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all. It's just like I had to come to the conclusion, and this is personally for where I was at in my faith walk, right? I was so eager to be like, nah, I gotta get to the league. I gotta get to the league. Despite my size, despite, everything else I've been going through, right? I'm just like, man, I gotta get to the league. I gotta get to the league. I gotta get to the league. But I started to understand that that's really not as important as you think it is. And when I started looking at it and really unpacking it, I'm like, bro, like, what do you mean by that? And when I looked at it, I was like, man, like you over here putting basketball before God. Like your relationship with Christ is not as important as you working out 3 times a day. Did you get in the word today? Did you read today? Did you pray today? Like, when was the last time you fasted? Like, I look at that stuff and I understand that. So when I started to understand that, I'm like, dude, like, I'm literally in a sort of way, I'm like idolizing basketball more than I should be admiring the Lord. And once I did that, I had to come to the conclusion where I felt like the Lord was convicting my heart, because I was just like, man, I need to change something. And so when I got to that point, I got to the point where, I'm still consistent with getting in the word and stuff, right? But my thing was, I was just like, I need to make sure that I'm not putting basketball before God. So when I started to get in my prayer and I started to understand these things, I'm like, man, God, if it's not in your will, I don't want it. So I was like, you know what? If I don't get to the league, I don't get to the league. Like, that's fine with me. God, I want whatever you have for me. And I think that's the bigger purpose between everything that we're doing, is at the end of the day, it's like, what are we doing to grow our relationship with Jesus? And so I started to understand that. And when I unpacked that, I was like, okay, cool. Now that I got that, now I have to see, God, what are you placing in my heart during this moment? Am I leading people correctly? Am I, doing everything I'm supposed to do in the way that you want me to do it? So I'm not trying to do things more so off my flesh. I'm doing things more so just off of God's will. And so when I started to understand that, man, that's what changed everything for me. So to answer your question, my next chapter, man, I'm honestly like, now, if God's gonna tell me, hey, you going to the league, we there. But hey, if that's not it, then that's not it. Like, I definitely want to play pro basketball somewhere though. Like, I want to play in the G League. I would love to. Like, I think that's any athlete's dream of playing in the NBA. If I can get to the G League and start there, I'm cool with that too. I don't mind working my way up because I've done that.
I
before.
think you are. I think you already doing that, brother. Like Pastor Gates said, the cage is the prep work for you to play professional ball somewhere. If God see fit down the road for a bigger picture, like I said, he orchestrate people and align things, put people in your path. So you started the prep work with the cage, brother.
That's love. That's love. I appreciate that, man. I know I got so many questions just for y'all. Like, I literally have a whole list of questions on my phone. I can ask them on camera. I mean, off camera. I ask y'all off camera. But I definitely have to say this for the record. Why did y'all not ever run the ones in the documentary? That's what everybody. I know everybody wanted to see that. You had the cameraman. You had everybody. All you had to do was
Man,
what
Will would have
happened?
killed me, man.
Hey, Will, you gonna let him talk?
Will would have
Really?
worked.
Hey,
Will,
listen, man.
hey, Will, Will was the McDonald's All-American. I was just the hood legend.
What that mean? What that mean?
It
What
was
does that
levels.
mean?
It was
Listen.
levels to that shit back then.
I'm gonna put it to you like this, Kyree. We both grew up in the hood, and wasn't nothing easy. Matter of fact, we came up in a time no blood, no foul. That's our era, and
That's how it should be.
and this is for me. This is when I knew what the level I was on. It really came down to this. A guy came up to me one day. God is my witness. Guy came up to me one day and said, "Will, why was we so afraid of you when you was growing up?" I said, "Man, it was two reasons. The first one was it was 50% because of what I've already done. The second is it's 50% of what I might do. You don't know the next level in me, what's coming." So that was always my mentality. I already know where I'm at, but you don't know what I'm getting ready to do next.
Yeah.
That was me.
Hey, I had to take my ones out on my daddy. You saw me.
I saw
Mr.
that.
Let It Rain.
I saw that.
He let it rain.
He made it rain though.
Look, I always tell people, I said my
did.
dad is the first dad in American cinema to speak that phrase, "Let it rain," and it went globally.
Absolutely.
He was the first dude
Absolutely.
to say that globally.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. Plus, Agee will remember this, man. Like when we was at St. Joe's together, because we both used to do this too, man. We didn't have any, man, we didn't have a whole lot of money. So we used to play kids at school for money. So, but we used to be, St. Joe's, you had to wear your dress clothes.
Yeah.
Doc, we was out there getting paid in our penny loafers, man, making money, man, dress shoes.
Button-down shirt.
We were straight up hood ballers, man. Take your shirt off. You don't want to get wet. Listen, I used to be in the gym, man, dunking for 50 cents. Man, Will, can you dunk?
Yep.
Man, it's going to cost you a sandwich. That's
Yeah.
That's how
Too
we did
funny,
it, man.
man.
But that was a love.
Yeah.
Man, that was a love that both Agee and I, because a lot of people don't know this, man. We actually used to play we never played one-on-one, but we actually played in the same grade school tournament, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
We played in the same elementary tournament.
Hey, hey, Kyree, and that's what I saw.
8th grade, man.
That's what I saw in you and your page. And when you spoke about basketball, I saw your passion and the love you had for it, bro. That's why I sent your IG profile to our boy Matt. I said, Matt, Will, we got to have this dude on. He done started something out in Boston called the Cage, but I can just feel his passion, his love for the game.
Plus 2, Kyree, I was dunking in 7th grade too, by the way.
Yeah,
man. So,
palming the ball like Dr. J. Big ol' ass hands at 13. What? Yeah, never seen nothing like that.
That's the difference too. That gives you an advantage in life too. When kids go up and see you dunk, they're like, "No, I don't want to play that. I ain't playing against Will." Man. Like there should be times I used to go to the playground, man, in the hood, and guys were like, "No, Will, you can't play with us."
Yeah.
It used to be like that,
Kyree,
man. It used to be like, no.
I got another documentary for you to check out if you haven't seen it already. It's called Hoop Reality, and it's about Patrick Beverly. Yeah.
Pat Beverly.
Yeah.
That's Agee's work.
I did my homework.
That dude, like me, he came up out of nowhere. Didn't nobody know who he was? He was out in the suburbs of Illinois. The boy came to the city of Chicago. He had to get with the right schools, just like you. Had to go to a few other schools to where it really had to work out. He wound up landing at Marshall, and this dude had to go up against Derrick Rose and Sharon Shorty Collins, who played at Kansas with a national championship in high school. He had to go up against them dudes. So that's why
that's Agee boy.
That's why he built the way he built.
But I think he crazy.
Yeah, he crazy, but
I think he said he built the way he built. I say he crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, nothing but love for Pat Bev and all the Marshall High School players, current and former, but they all crazy. AG crazy.
Hey man, we are
the girls teams crazy.
West Side,
the women coaches
West
over there.
Side of Chicago.
West Side
you gotta
is crazy.
Be a little you gotta be a little crazy to think that you can go up against everybody and think that, you know what I'm saying? Like, you just gotta have that edge, that confidence. And Pat Beverly, and he'd have had that all his life, man. So, but I don't agree with him throwing the ball though.
No, but bro, I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all, man. I love Pat Bev, man. Like, when it comes to his defense, any day of the week, he's on my. I would have loved to either run ones with him, or let alone if we. I will be honest. One of the videos that I literally have in my phone before this conversation, anything, I had this like years ago. I always wanted to do a video with Pat Bev going into like a run and just doing like straight up just locking up people. That was it. Just going up and just locking up people. Going to parks, just causing I'm talking about like full court traps. Because I'm telling you, y'all notice though, my generation, we soft. Nobody likes the physicality.
I'm glad you brought that up, man, because I know we ran out of time, but one of the questions I was going to ask you, man, I'm looking at the international play. Doc, our top 3 for the MVP, all international. Our top 3 defensive players, all international. And truthfully, if you're even thinking about the top 3 NBA players, if you go to number 4, Giannis right there. I'm like, what's going on between the American game and the international game? And I think you hit it right on the money. I don't know if as the American game is playing a full, complete game anymore. I don't know if the league wants it. Like, they look at a Pat Bev. They look at a Draymond Green. They love it,
I'm like,
but
crazy.
I don't know if they want that anymore. But then I go and say, but we're letting the international game is taking over so much. At some point, in the very near future, they're going to be, I'm down here in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Pop don't do nothing but drive international players. I'm just saying, I think that the American game is going to have to do a reset themselves.
Yeah.
Because like you said earlier, even with the content that's pouring out there, you can go on YouTube right now and put up how I want to become a better basketball player. That's going to be 1,000 videos about your ball handling skills, about your shooting skills. Way down there, you might find 1 or 2 videos about defensive slides, about positioning, about knowing ball, talking the game of basketball. It's insane, man, what the game is at right now.
Man, unfortunately, and it doesn't help because you have content creators that add on to that. They add on to the fire of like, yo, I just need to get. I legitimately seen guys walk inside of a gym, play 3 games, not even 3, maybe just 2. They only playing just so they get their clips and leave. I've seen it with my own eyes, and I'm like, wow. That's wild. And they showed up late. So I'm like, yo, this is crazy. I'm like, and people really, and the crazy thing is, obviously people don't see that.
Right.
But 1, people are getting paid. And then 2, it makes them look like they're really like that. But then when you go and watch them in person for a full game, it's like, you don't look like any of your highlights you've been putting up, bro.
That's right.
So it's insane. Like all this is insane, man. And so again, like, I definitely believe this generation is soft because of the fact that we don't appreciate guys like a Draymond Green, guys like a Patrick Beverly, like those type of guys is even just, I think overall from a generational standpoint, just when it comes to life, I'll definitely speak from my generation. We're soft.
Well, I'll tell you,
we are genuinely
I'll say
soft.
this too, man. It ain't even just the guys like Draymond Green and Pat Bev, but you look at a Jalen Brunson. He can't get the love. Even now, this sugar's been averaging nearly 40 points a game, locking dudes up. He still can't get the love.
Right.
Because the league, if I hate to say this, man, but if you ain't 6'7", 6'8", if you ain't flashy, if you ain't instant offense, I mean, think about it right now.
Getting
And,
cold.
I'm glad he's still able to play at this age. But there's no reason LeBron James should still be playing basketball right now. Not because he's not capable, not because he don't deserve to be out there. Hey, play as long as you can play. But there's no way a dude that's almost 40 years old, care what kind of shape you in, you shouldn't be better than a 20-year-old who can hit his head on the hardwood floor, bounce up and dunk the ball backward. There's no way. Impossible.
It comes from work ethic, though, man, and a lot of that. All right, let me put it like this. I think, again, from work ethic, but I think it's just more so because I appreciate y'all so much too, and y'all's generation, and like my pops. And he always says this, the 80s is the greatest generation of all time. He says it all the time. And I actually believe him. So I'm like,
well, we did have the best cartoons, though.
You had everything.
Yeah.
And y'all had the greatest basketball player.
Absolutely.
Hey, look,
y'all had
but we still had the best TV shows too. I mean, we had the Knight Rider.
Hey, look, I gotta tell you this though.
Smurfs.
There's a picture. And you should appreciate this, Kyree, because it's of a Boston Celtic dude in the playoffs. Mr. Henderson, a guard, is playing in the game with a damn neck brace on. Ain't he, William? Dude, he's actually in the game with a neck brace on, bro, in the playoffs.
I need to see
Gerald Henderson, a guard. Ask your daddy about it. You ain't even got to see the picture. Just say that. Arthur said Gerald Henderson played in the playoff game for the Boston Celtics with a neck brace on. Yeah, he did.
Literally, he did. But I'm gonna tell you, man. I'm gonna tell you another tough player out there in Boston that plays for Boston. Derek White is tough, man.
Oh yeah.
Derek White. Derek White go both ways on the floor for you. I mean, truthfully, I think he's laying back because they want Jalen Green and they want Jaylen Brown to be the 1-2 punch. But that dude, man, on any given night is probably the best player on that